I'm kind of on my last voice right now, so excuse the scratch. I had to write a poem about the seagulls, my yearly. And, love on the wing. The seagulls are at it again. Mated for life, or looking for a wife, they chortle loudly with the expectation of love. It starts at dawn and continues on through the day. Their vocal calisthenics prove they have a lot to say about love and marriage and avian pairing. The silence of the winter streets cracks open with their cackling. Sex on the wing is hard to beat. When watching the shrimp bait in my aquarium is not enough. I'm a card-carrying shut-in, a homebound senior now. Since I sold the car and lost my lover, and no one will take the vow to love and cherish me forever. Through sickness and through health, I've been labeled insufficient and put back on the shelf, where I spend my days alone and wondering what the hell can I do to get back out there, find a mate to spend my last days with before St. Peter rings my bell. This is kind of the story, short version of my life. As normal as I was. Polio took me down when I was nearly 3. I was running at the time. That's how I liked to be. Little legs that loved to speed grew stiff, then silent, then soft as silk in water. Lost all their tension. Became octopi extensions as neurons torched my muscles, virus weaponizing fever, and slowly crawling down my spine. I lay limp as a rag in a hospital bed for a year and 90 days, until braced in stainless steel and leather, they sent me on my way as normal as I was ever going to be. Normal and healed and longing to run free. I was small for a warrior, but my doctors trained me well. I shook off the ancient virus, broke the cripple's spell, dropped those metal braces that helped me walk and stand, grew myself my own new muscles, and once again began exploration of the land I had been set down on. Devil's work, or God's great plan, my body grew to womanhood shaped by an unseen hand. A living, breathing bonsai tree, I was often called exotic. Curvaceous to my very bones, my life tended toward erotic. I moved through my days in my own unique rhythm, gathering art, lovers, and babies. Life's better with them. I sucked the honey from the hive. Pain is just a part of being alive. Trust me when I say I did it all. And then at age 40, I began to fall. At first it was a misstep, traveling too fast, but soon it didn't take much to land me on my ass. My legs were getting wobbly, muscles never meant to last. And what I'd gained in strength and speed soon became the past. I'm glad I did what I did when I did it, because I sure can do it now. My world has shrunk to a motorized wheelchair, needing cement sidewalks to get around, and a ramp to your door if you want me to visit. That's not too much to ask, or is it? Whatever. My life's so much easier with me sitting down, and I don't worry about falling as I turbo around. I've always been stared at, even more so today. I just smile and wave as I glide your way. This is a little poem prayer that I like to use for the full moon. It's a full moon blessing. When the moon is full and round, all my riches will be found. A sense of joy and boundless wealth, stability in love and health. Do you really think your words are simply air, pushed about with tongue and teeth, thoughts solidified though neither here nor there, but riding on the edge of possibility? Don't you know that once you birthed a prayer through parted lips and brought this earth into being?
Next up, Grace. Please welcome Grace. You have to applaud, come on.
I know.
Testing, yes. Verb, arrested in justice from the shadows. Let's learn to win graciously. Last time I cringed. Girls in the sound make love, not war, unchanged from start to finish. Throughout the entry-level Olympics, immigrant with charming little miracles drops into a smaller space. Relocation into life's next phase is short-winded until your return is complete. Low-maintenance kingdoms of the sun and the moon, transitions by objective, milestone for a star who died far too soon, by up and down spotlight on sudden circus of controversy. Sundance insensitivity in the space age, wary over distressing memories, feeling useful and older through the excessive outburst, just one side of girl talk, fledging vanguard. A stranger moment show the two main symbols of a short story, slicing up the snake, to prove the first thing was not just a stroke of luck. The experience thunders behind the scenes, lost in the trees. Radical shredding chases the politics of pain. Why can't you learn? We're not finished. The girl who cried wolf kicked off a new era for the monarchy. Everyone else can overcome the bouncing soul's terrible ghostland as a direct result of this arcade fire. And in front of it was a living, life-size controversy. I couldn't believe I had hundreds of choices now. That anatomy, nude, a painful reminder, and her scent itch my jeans and have let me pass on game in exile. in a tangible way the whole person, downward dogging the garden of the self, the art of being me in the down real, seeing happening as I am, a diamond in the really rough. Bright eyes looking as disgusted as anyone, but I don't see any point in chasing down the last mistress. With her replay, monsters in the closet, catch the red-eye valance. You won't want the wild combination asking questions repeatedly. Sometimes water is deep. It might make you want to run and hide, always in her shadow, following the downturn that's waiting to respond, pennywise, from the ashes. There's no such thing as a supermind. The tortured stories are of love. Even bare spots and freckles revisit the clouds. The lookout begins the home song stories and just continues on with her fast talking. Don't forget about Art Walk Thursday night. Goldilocks will be open, and you can pick up a flyer here if you're interested in. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Another applause for Grace. Next up, please welcome Randy.
Jammed up over the last week. It was like if I had to write something and I would start to write something and I would write something long and wordy and like blah. Like an hour ago I thought I better write something, just quit. So I went with quit. This is called rumination. Rumination, when I roll some thought, some happening around in my head until it changes into something quite different. Some small slight, or maybe something said, something not said, that clearly should have been said. Maybe a tiny gesture or an eye roll that clearly had great import. In fact, now that I think about it, I'm sure that that person meant an entire paragraph of insulting things about how I stand, or the way my nose hair seems to grow so quickly. It almost certainly was about my nose hair, and even that sometimes I wear black socks with sandals. Or the way I pronounce my R's, or possibly she had a little piece of mascara that reached up to her eyelash. For my disorganization today. Some of these are just some I read, or some I wrote, some I didn't. They're just kind of a mismatch. She's not the kind of woman who needs rescuing anymore, but it makes her smile a little to know that she is worth rescuing in case she changes her mind. Pop in between them, they're going to be just kind of little short ones. It turns out she was always an open book. It just took quite a while for her to find somebody who spoke her language. And this is somebody else's. The minute you grip onto something too tightly, you become the addict, they become the dealer. Breathe, release your hold. The natural state is gentle, freeing, an unchained flow. Last one. Certain people will inhabit a quiet space in your heart, despite any circumstances or situation. They left a piece of themselves when your souls collided, and there they will always remain. Thank you.
Go, Randy. Next up, please welcome Jude. Big round of applause.
All right, totally unprepared. I am going to warm up, all right, with a couple of short ones by other people.
Okay.
All right, I have the green light. That's awesome. All right, first one, Paul Laurence Dunbar, favorite poet ever, one of my favorites anyway. Grew up in my hometown, or I grew up in his hometown, one of the two. His mom was a laundry lady for the Wright brothers and hooked him up with a good education. And some of his poems are his stories. They're his. They're for, they're for other people to read. But the one that I like is because I had loved so deeply, because I had loved so long, God in his great compassion gave me the gift of song. Now that's the stanza everybody recites. It was on plaques at the library and whatnot. The one people don't recite is the next one. Because I had loved so vainly and sung with such faltering breath, the Master in infinite mercy gives me the boon of death. That's the one people skip. All right, another one. Let's see. No one saves America by sniffing cocaine, standing blank eyed, not meat in the rain. When it snows in your nose, you catch cold in your brain. That's Alan Gilbert. All right, one more, then I'll get to mine. Okay. Blasted by sighs, surrounded by tears, hither I come to seek the spring, and at mine eyes and at mine ears receive such balm as the soul may bring, and that this place may true paradise be thought, I, self-traitor, have the serpent brought. Twickenham Garden, somebody can Google the poet. I like it. All right. So that was all other people's stuff. Oh, one more. X.J. Kennedy. Okay. The goose that laid the golden egg died looking up its crotch to see how well its sphincter worked. Would you lay well? Don't watch. All right. That's enough of other people's stuff. I'm warned. All right. This is one called Love Draws Blood. Biggest of the litter was all fluff. Wiggliest was all badass. Hollered all down I-5 with cardboard till I stripped topless and fierce beast tiny snuggled quiet in my shirt all home. Badass Fluff guarded the house when the door latch failed us, brought live prey when slaughter wouldn't do. Vet bestowed a warning label and we learned, love draws blood. Biggest Wiggliest lost a leg and kept double ferocity. Rest now, retired, more snuggles, still all fluff. Thank you.
You can make it cry, girl.
Or do you just settle down? Okay. So let's
She's
bring
got a
up
couple
Drew
months.
again. We don't have a lot of people.
Excuse me.
Please welcome Drew back. You have plenty of stuff to read. This way, Garrett just came down from Bellingham, so he had to settle down.
This is one of my favorites, about Leda and the Swan. Some days, a trick of fate, or the gods in a fit of fancy, beget a match of unfathomable complexity, understandable only to themselves. The outer world rejects the coupling, and upon shallow reflection, so do I. But as you glide into my waiting arms, your body iridescent with untamed beauty, I forget the rules. The taboos of my so-called civilization fall away from me. They fade like a fevered dream, and I am transfixed by the white gossamer of your curving neck, caressing whisper soft against my cheek. And And who could deny the glory of a moment filled with dazzling wings, opalescent falls unfurling above and around me, blocking out the sun and enfolding me in an exaltation of desire. Later, I lay enraptured, face buried in your downy breast, unmindful and oblivious of everything, but a deeper current of truth only we know. This is the poem that I wrote for the Gulls last year. California Dreaming. Ah, the gulls are back in town. They even fly at night and in the rain. Like angels in an updraft, they mount the warm drafts and glide past my window, splash hitting my screens, screaming their joy. Winged reprobates with raspy voices, I wish I had your life. A spring full of mindless romance and fertile sex, bonding with my perfect mate, raising my children on rooftops drenched in the white gold of a North Pacific sun. I would teach my children to fly with me in ever-widening concentric circles. Every day we would have lessons to sharpen their avian sovereignty, until the final turn of the autumn sun, when I would gather my mob of extended family into one crackling, cackling cloud of wings and wind, and chase the deserting sun to California's shimmering shores. Passing the night. It's midnight and snowing, but I'm safe and warm in our bed. Yet my mind tends to wander, and I follow where I'm led, lost in a graveyard of dead love affairs. Turning over the bones, I dig here and there, looking for the truths that outlasted the affair. Shake, rattle, and roll. Can the remains of the past predict the future? Romance can take its toll, but I need answers. It's been said, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. A lifetime of love could very well begin with just one kiss and a little luck. Ahead of the game, we've already had 1,000 kisses and more to come. So roll over on me, sleeping beauty. I want to feel the warm sweetness of your breath upon my neck. Let me hold you for a while before we rise and claim our separate ways. You and your fiery lovings give me strength to meet the day.
You make being a seagull just sound delicious, wonderful, blissful. It's time for us to kind of give up these human legs and get some wings.
Yeah.
Okay, next up, please welcome Grace. On the horizon, we have both Julie and Gary. And Robinson wanted to let everyone know that he will be here about 6:45. Okay, sure.
Hello to the big picture. Oh, are you recording? Oh, good, because I'm not. Okay, I'm sorry. Hello to the big picture, dust. But don't stop there. Rip a phone book in half. Friends, recall you stand out. Your uber sleek phoenix can change colors like a chameleon. How your stark look strengthens his tragic end, closer than you think. Obituary viaduct, built for such a fantastic group. I'm a nice guy. It's just this horrific beauty in the flaming lips. Or what's that hostage situation? Pedestrian shooting takes sidecar to their own identities. Dreamy white depths of the grave matters, and his mad Rasputin eyes bounce dead man's drama, shooting and capturing inflation. And daggers playing with enthusiasm and depth. Our sensibilities still believing the return of the hoopla confidence answers how the free-spirited laugh out loud. Fatal things turned affect. He hiccups when he laughs hard, but he will never grow out of the way. Night and day picking sides, and it very quickly becomes a comfortable yet exciting combination. Talking voice on the loudspeaker sends suggestions to end unreal systems made in man's death. Welcome to the world's greatest compromise. Who will be there? The friend that got him in trouble before? The motley fool disrupts the hunger feedback given by a clean-cut guy. Baffles the baby boomers' canceled birthdays. Life for many is serving out millennials to imagine dragons. The servant of two masters, how he used to look, of course, always splendid in buckskin, with his suave goatee, or the technicolor patchwork vest sewn by his girls. Our roots join the real Inspector Hound, who is shaping the discussion. Cascade wicked for challenge on a tiebreaker for Mars. A lifetime in cages raised set up latitude. Let's listen to your inner voice. Finally, a commentary, even with woe, starts here. We're 4 times faster than an average human. God helped us heal. Each proof given as reason, with at least 15 charms. I take this train every day, peak the pulse of everything that matters. Passion is moving, glorious, reliable, and we're working to help joy in the air, see through walls, stifling what claims farewell to resemble a life sentence for his part in the peace and love era ending pollution. Today in history, slaying nobody I didn't kill, showing the biggest issues of our day, get nasty, and may reach Florida too. Thank you.
Great. Randy, do you have more for us? Okay. Please welcome Randy.
Thank you. First, you were mine. If I was with you, I could read to you, and maybe if it touched the right places in you, you might cry. That would be so beautiful, because I love your broken pieces, and maybe we could put them back together in a mosaic that the sun could shine through. Thank you. Thank you very much. It's hard to share your story, really it is. But to be fully seen and heard is to have the opportunity to look into the face of another person and see that you are okay, that in truth you are more than okay, that you bring light, nuance, happiness, and growth. that you not only have the strength to get you through what you need to do to happen in your life, but the strength enough to help those around you, and that you are fully, completely loved exactly as you are. And the last one, you do not have to be good. You don't have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you about mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairie, the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue sky, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over, announcing your place in the family of things. Thank you.
So Joe, do you have another offering?
I do.
Another offering from Joe.
Okay, a little bit of a contrast here. I'm going to serve you up some teenage angst from years ago. All right, let's see. I don't think either of these had titles, but the first one is, I guess I can't do anything right, so what good is it to fight? If I stop trying tonight, how long will it take to make things right? Teenage angst. All right, other teenage angst, same era. Time that grinds the craggy rock to sand and stone and dust is also that which turns the clock and that which governs us.
Another applause for Joe. And now, all the way from Bellingham, please welcome Garrett Way.
Good evening.
Good evening.
This is just going to be a bit of a potpourri.
Okay.
First one is one called The Slap. If you slap sleepers to awaken them because their house is on fire, will they only remember the slap? I guarantee you that's the case. Something, the inconsequence of walls. Divisive stone walls top the hill, descend field and forest slopes, then cross the valley. Come flood time, water will go where it will. Nature does not care about walls. This one I like because of its rhythm and it's old. And I remember the bedroom in which I wrote this. It's called The Rain God's Natal Song. I lie awake now, my mind at peace, though I am wrapped in white and tangled sheets from night frets. From my window end above, I hear uneven drips of rainfall on the roof in scattered hits, and rivulets soft drum from the eaves in syncopation. The clock sits quiet, time unticked, silence reminding me that I must wind its key to make the hours pass. Minutes remain unsummed in this room universe without my attention. As you know, I sort of snuck on with it. Is there really a world outside, absent my desire or my design? Is it all a stage set by a god to test the play of my invention? Are trees here by my agreement? If this universe is but a dream, am I then the dreamer? Or am I subplot to a vision by a greater mind? Does the master seeing here spring from your and my consensus? Not far away across the yard, Angela, the young mother, begins her morning song, praising earth and sun and cloud and rain. Were there no God, the beauty of her voice in summer rain would create him. Her song is steady, sweet and clear, entrancing all, and for a moment the rain stops as a new rain demigod listens. Then a new and stronger drumming begins. How many diabetics are there in this room? Okay, there's 2 of us anyway, 3. You know those nice little things with the orange caps you gotta get up in the middle of the night and use?
No, not me. I stay away from
Not me.
This is called filling an insulin syringe, 3 a.m. And you should know that old Dan in the deep south is another word for the devil. And keep in mind that those syringes come with orange caps on either end. Both ends most of the time. Old Dan comes by once in a while, jaunty orange cap under his cowl, says softly, "Hi. You'll come with me by and by." We share a drink, very dry, but seldom ever clink our glasses. Just a click and a nick, a drop of red to test the state of our relations. Then a nod, sometimes a wink, perhaps a word left on the slant, as that devil pulls and takes just one piece at a time. Thank you.
And now, for Julie. Please welcome Julie to the mic.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Oh, you said a potpourri? I think it's a poem-pourri. Thank you. So I have 3 poems here that I picked to get me excited about gardening because I bought seeds yesterday and today I went and looked at plants and I haven't really done a lot of gardening for a couple years and I want this to be like the return to gardening. I got lettuce and peas and cilantro and green onions and I think one other, I don't remember.
Sounds like you're going to be the rabbit's best friend.
Did I say cilantro already?
Yes.
Okay. It seems like it's supposed to be, how many was that? Peas, green onions, lettuce, cilantro, and I know I got 2 packets of peas, but I know I got 6 packets of seeds. So there's like one thing I'm forgetting. I'm gonna have to like update you
Carrots.
next time. No, I'm not gonna grow carrots. Like I've done carrots. That's later, and that's buying starts. I didn't start the seeds inside. The thing about carrots is like, I've let them grow, and then like I've picked them, and they stay in there, and you can get this like nice little harvest. I know. You can get this nice little harvest even in the spring, like they're still in the ground, it's fun. But like they take up a lot of space and they're super cheap in the store, and like the lettuce, you know, like I don't want to take up all my time, you know, talking about this, but I've got some poems actually. I do want to grow strawberries this year. Like I want to get a fresh batch of strawberries because my strawberries they're old, they've been there a long time, there's tons of weeds in there. Okay, I better read the poem. Clarification. Don't look at my long and shaggy lawn and think, she doesn't like to mow. I love to mow. I love to mow when I love to mow. And it turns out I also love looking forward to mowing. Mowing is only once in a while. I can look forward to mowing all of the time. And sometimes that is enough. It turns out I love to mow when the grass is spectacularly long. I love to right angle turn myself around and around, leaving a one-sided wake of freshly shorn at the edge of wild tufts and flowers, smooth, flat surface that will renew itself in time into another sea of wild, tall grasses, all manner of weeds, and always a layer of dependable moss. This lawn is a gift that keeps on giving. We can talk about this some more later. It's time for me to get out there and mow. Not right now, though. I've got 2 more poems for you.
Just say mow.
What was that?
Just say mow.
Yes. I'll write that on here. That's a good one. Thank you, Grace. The dark side of gardening. I am at peace with pulling out piles and piles of weeds, but thinning out the tiny tomato seedlings gives me such pause. I can't let them all live. I planted a pair of seeds in each spot meant for one plant, just in case some didn't sprout. So I've been snuffing out a few of them each day. It's tricky to have to choose their fate, and I'm glad I'll soon be done with this tentative killing spree. So I won't have to do that this year because I didn't start tomatoes yet. And I think it's a little late now. I suppose I could do it. I don't know. This is about getting me all psyched up to garden, right? So maybe I will.
You can start tomatoes now.
Yeah, I can start now? Okay,
Inside.
good to know. Here's one called Hooray for Weeding. This is what I really need to get out there and do. I call myself a gardener, but maybe what I like best is the weeding. It's so cut and dry, no decisions about what to plant where, when is the best time, no remembering to water, or keeping track of what I did for future reference. If it's a weed, it goes. And I move on to the next one. No question of when, the time is now. I can enjoy the completeness of it, the bed of fresh, rich, ready soil, a clean slate, an open canvas, while also knowing that I'll get to do the whole thing all over again. Given time, there will be more weeds. Weeding is a joy that keeps on giving.
Okay, next up is a very, very rare occasion. We have Garrett Rutledge, who was the founder of Everett Poetry Night back in 2006. Please welcome Garrett to the mic.
Hi.
Yeah.
I love this mic. Any David Wagner fans out there? David Wagner? Okay.
Vegas fans.
Vegas fans? Okay.
I think I have some.
Yeah? Okay. Lost.
Yes, I do.
There it is.
I got a fan.
Took a famous poem and people know. Stand still. The trees ahead and bushes beside you are not lost. Wherever you are is called here, and you must treat it as a powerful stranger. Must ask permission to know it and be known. The forest breathes. Listen, it answers. I have made this place around you. If you leave it, you may come back again, saying, here. No two trees are the same to Raven. No two branches are the same to rend. If what a tree or a bush does is lost on you, you are surely lost. Stand still. The forest knows where you are. You must let it find you. Dave Wagner. Sorry, I'm that guy who eats everything in his phone and loses it. Oof.
Sorry. Another life it would have been wax tablets.
Yeah.
Clay. You're doing pretty good.
Slipping out of your fingers, turning to dust, or it's just blowing the pits.
Give it up. Duane.
Untitled. This is me, not Dave Wagner. Or anyone else for that matter. To set aside just one part of myself, unnamed, whole, and undisturbed before naming, and thereby rendering sacrificial what life without asking cuts away. To join that part of me to whatever you have yet to name and enjoy only in your quietest moments. How wonderful that would be. Thank you very much. Thank you for keeping this going.
Give it up for Garrett! Okay, let's see here. Pick a number between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1 through 8.
8.
What did I hear?
8.
8, okay. And now pick a number between 1 and 33.
6.
6. And did I hear 2 also? Okay. I will do 6 first. Oh. This is entitled, I Have No Poems. I have no poems about drunken nights or wild fornication with blondes and brunettes or even the stray goat or two. I have no poems about recovery or seductive whispers or cravings. There is no hunger in me for white lines, pills, or things needing flame. Those poems are for others. I have poems about death. Bodies piled high in memory, each one asking for remembrance. I have poems about mortality, about sidestepping chambered rounds in Houston, of almost walking down the wrong Kansas City street, about being engulfed in flames, moments after leaving the 520 floating bridge, about looking into a killer's eyes in Bellingham, 6 months before he pulled the trigger 6 times, so his victim would not suffer. I knew I should have ended him that day, but they toss you into prison for excuse like, I knew. I live with the dead, those killed by drunks, the suicides, the ODs, those eaten by disease, those who fell in battle or simply fell. Palmists will say, I should have been dead before I turned 27. My lifeline, if you want to call it that, makes them perspire, makes them whisper gypsy spells of protection, makes them too nervous to look into my eyes. My friends who believe Say, I am touched by God. Maybe so, maybe so, maybe. But I doubt his existence, even after all the arguments we have had. Anyway, that old man is still pissed about that time I slapped him across the face. Did I hear another number? What was the other number? 2. Okay. Wow, I haven't read this one in a long time. This is Belltown, October 2009, inspired by my evening with cellist Sierra Tildman and poet Ilo Mal Tomet. Last night, I went out into the world, into the doors of the Rendezvous Jewel Box Theater, fell into the voice of an Estonian poet whose words walked upon my spine. Then I swayed like a Tibetan prayer flag, captured within the swirling winds, being serenaded by a Croatian cello whose gypsy soul possessed its cellist, compelling her nimble fingers over long, sinewy strings, her arms flowing in the rhythmic motion of waves crashing upon rocky shores. Then at 11 blocks, we walked to Stella's through territory inhabited by street hustlers, craving the juice of the score, the triumph of the sly over the daylight grinders who emerge from the coziness of suburbia onto the streets that ooze with candy-coated promises. The hustlers, with a hint of menace, just enough dirt to add a bit of sizzle to the evening, are dealing ecstasy, cannabis, and powders waiting to be liquefied. White, while bulging, while brightly colored woo-woo girls cast glittering eyes towards males that swarm in packs, sniffing for scent, for women in heat, in need, in craving, for carnal satisfaction, and some good old Catholic rule breaking. Crossing themselves, the girls whisper internally, "Forgive me, Father, for I have a need to sin." Shuttered businesses provide sheltered darkness for the dispossessed, huddled in grimy sleeping bags and torn sheets, or whatever is within grasp. Hands slide from the darkness into dim light, shaking cans for change. Each face remains shadowed from multitudes and themselves. Predators slide from the doorways and alleys, from the lee side of light poles and street signs, weaving snake-like, judging prey. A few size me up, then veer away for softer meat. Johnny Cash's voice stumbles out of the old Mexican cafe, an open doorway to hard living and even hearted loving. Yeah, this is Seattle at night. That tarnished emerald that requires a little blood upon the cracked pavement, a little blood dripping into the storm drains, a little blood to nourish the dark side of its heart. I think I've read that for like 10 or 12 years. Okay, we do not have Robinson yet. Do we have anyone who hasn't read yet who wants to come up? No? So, we will bring Rue back up. Oh my God, are you all done? Do you want to just call it a night and have us go to someone else? Okay, so Rue's going to pass this next round. So, Grace, do you have another poem?
Yeah, I can read something.
Grace can always do another poem. Are we losing Randy? Take care. See you maybe next week if you're not flying off to Mexico. Enjoy either way. Have a good night. Here's Grace.
last of the gentle giants, see the red flame light the sky. The tides alternate, exaggerating that tension and letting it go. Move gently or vigorously and then hold very still. Play with your breath. Break out of jail. With the return of the bastard sun, great, grating at the core, you asked for it. An explosive climax that was distinctively jazz. I would rear up in fear of riptide and those tears of salty pride to homogenize the styles, to soften pointed chin, playing hardball. She's so clear, you can see right through her, to someone else. How's that alternative choice? The needy are getting needier through his spontaneity, time after time. We live with the problem every day. Looks fair, fringed with palm trees. Build an empire in his own backyard. I get how buildings die and how new ones are born in their home. Cultures are compared. Earthly life can be catastrophic, child. You've been chemically treated to lift the fishes and say, ah, keeping time, waiting for my guru and reloading.
Joe, do you have another poem?
Let's do it.
Okay, let's do it. Joe says.
Woo. All right.
You guys can applaud. You can applaud for Joe. Yeah.
We're awestruck.
Wow, I think we have another poet who just walked in too. Do you want to be on the list, Mr. Trevor?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. We'll do a little merge PRC first. This is To Be of Use, and I'm not sure if it was in The Moon is Always Female or not. It's one of the best collections. Oh my goodness. Okay. People I love the best jump into work head first without dallying in the shallows, and swim off with sure strokes, almost out of sight. They seem to become natives of that element, the black, sleek heads of seals, bouncing like half-submerged balls. I love people who harness themselves, an ox to a heavy cart, who pull like water buffalo with massive patience, who strain in the mud and the muck to move things forward, who do what has to be done again and again. I want to be with people who submerge in the task, who go into the fields to harvest and work in a row and pass the bags along, who are not parlor generals and field deserters, but move in a common rhythm when the food must come in or the fire be put out. The work of the world is common as mud. Botched, it smears the hands, crumbles to dust. But the thing worth doing well done has a shape that satisfies, clean and evident. Greek amphoras for wine or oil, Hopi vases that held corn are put in museums, but you know they were made to be used. The pitcher cries for water to carry, and a person for work that is real.
Another applause for Joe. Gary, I hope you have a few more poems to share. He can. Twist Gary's arm. Please welcome Gary to the mic.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Again. He was lazy. He was lazy, she said. Had no use for the brain he was born with. Let the sugar take his health, and he was too spiritual. Too inhabited by spirits who arrived in glass carriages. But he was funny, his faults leavened by laughter. He could always see something sweet that might be extracted from a sour thing. No misfortune could be crushing, no more than passing inconvenience. Money slipped through his fingers, but he spread it on misfortuned earth, where some took root and gave blessings of increase to others. Good folk, some of whom turned to bless him in turn at his passing. And something political, I understand we've still got people boxed up in cages along the borders, be they men or women or children. And the idea of children being in there really pisses me off.
And the one that should be in a cage is running for office.
Right, that's right. This was also written under the influence of railway trains in Bellingham. And you know they have whistle calls or horn calls they use for signaling different things, like 2 quick blasts of the horn maybe, brakemen start setting brakes up on top, that sort of thing. You'll figure the other one out here. Long, long, short, long, dissonant song of the rail train horn, shout of an engine pouring its soul out, pulling ahead with punishing power, calling for crossings, warning its way, horning the sleeping cities. Long, long, short, long, urgent its call for crossings, its thundering pull and dissonant horn toil through sleeping towns. Dissonant horn, wakening horn, sees America passing. Long, long, short, long, camps near the rail yards, tents by the tracks, cages of children, gleam faces, tear-tracked, with wicked fresh scars beneath clothing. Dissonant horn, rumbles through sleeping cities, resonant horn shaking its call for our waking, horn of mean seas, horn of our time, wailing, wailing, sad wailing, not just about crossings anymore. Thank you.
Another applause for Garrett Wayne. Julie, do you have another offering?
Of course.
Is this more about gardening?
I left that one back on the table.
Okay.
So, no, not this time.
Well, the person who has spider phobia has left, so if you have a spider poem, you can read it now.
I do.
It's back on the table also.
She curated her list.
What was that?
Your list is curated. Your set is not covered.
I've always got a spider poem somewhere, because I have a few of them. But I'm going to read these other ones today. I have learned that not doing can be a spiritual practice too. Leaving space and staying open and waiting to see what will happen. Enrobed. I've peeled away several of the layers which enrobed this thrift-stored pillow. I like number 4 the best. I had sought a firm pillow to lean against. I thought this one was perfect, even before I knew it held such mystery. Who was it that put so many pillow coverings on one square pillow? What stories could be told about each layer? I feel at peace with the quilted patchwork pattern present in layer number 4. Vintage fabrics pieced together, paisley, gingham, polka dots, calico, lovingly embroidered where margins meet. An open section along one side reveals the next layer, a crocheted pillow cover of blue, purple, and white yarn, someone's original vision for this pillow, a vision which was reinvented many times. Each time, the old version kept safe under a new layer. How many times do we reinvent ourselves? And what do we keep safe among our layers? Thank you. I have one more. This is called Almost. The darkened sky offers lightning. We watch through the windows of the borrowed house, my child eyes mesmerized, while bright flashes illumine the expanse of sky. It is a family vacation. Also, we are poised on the possibility of moving to this town, into this very house, its plain, sprawling rooms, its echoingly empty basement. We envision roller skating. The surrounding fields with their multitudes of grasshoppers, the lake only a short distance away, lazy summer days, sunshine, sudden downpours, dusty drives into town while our car bumps along on the gravel road. Our car, with its variety of rattletrap sounds, the kind you don't worry about, because you've been hearing them for so long, and so far, everything has turned out just fine.
Garrett, do you have another offering for us? Please welcome the return of Garrett.
Untitled. Though it aches, deprives me of sleep, this bruise spread across sternum and rib is love. Not the love I want, but the love I am left with. Violent and accidental. Firm in its reminding that I deserve nothing but what I make. A bruise even is the message that this pain and the lesser pains that came before it etched and stitched into the places I would not look until now.
Next up, please welcome Jude. Yes, but please don't do it while you're at the microphone.
What?
Don't shit while you're at the microphone. we
You'll
have to
see.
sweep.
I have a plan.
Okay.
That was good. Okay. I wasn't ready. I have some poems about dreams. This one is called Honorable Mention Dream Cameo. Viciously pressing my forehead into yours, I love you so I see you all of the time. I loved you so I look for you everywhere. Why do you wake in the morning to scrape the frost off your car at that apartment building remodeled after the fire? Why do you drive the same car? Why did you get a good haircut? I had a dream last night we had a child. You drove her so quickly through the snow. Most men with confidence are cars. You are just some Matthew McConaughey thing left over from a time before the revolution didn't come. Before I had to weave my car in between the legs of giants without your hands ready to steer the wheel. Hooray for me otherwise. I've learned to take myself to the dentist. Okay, I got another one about a dream. Okay. I feed my dream to animals. To spite my own sleeplessness, I leave my life open for you, but the eight-legged things walk in. Always apathetic, my brothers watch me fumble to escape the giant jumping spider who follows me from room to room. In my frustration, I thought I ought to kill him, throwing cans of beans and whipping at his thorax with belts. I couldn't land a shot until he spoke to me. He finally said he was in love with me. Spiders do not have the cognitive ability to seek revenge, so I cut him in half, and he dragged what was left of his fat, kind eyes and lazy eyelids by his remaining forelegs towards me. Built up on a base of dried roses he died, fuzzy and dense, and freckled, white and black. Okay, I'm gonna read you another one that I just wrote last night. Orange soda prints. From the fountain you declare this is not what the real thing smells like, even though the color is spot on. From your fingers, aerosol oils catch fire and catch my cheeks when you squeeze the cutie's peel. Because of you and your essay to defend my frugality, I am blushing at clementines, shitting out citrus seed after citrus seed, growing trees outside of Florida like the varied thrushes spreading the snowberry seed. I am rolling through his sheets today, sick to my stomach, pregnant with potential if Christmas would not come bubblegum blue but the color of hot chocolate, and all the important moments we choose to spend together. It's pagan, it's secular, it's my birthday, it's your birthday.
Give it up for Jude! One more time! Next up, please welcome Trevor.
All right, a pretty new one. Scales. Scales enforce the way my vessel traverses seas. The tides of discipline plunge to the weight of my distractions. My self-demeanor anchored to the flux of the baggage of my bad habits, reflected in my belly pouch and my empty coffers. Every newcomer is awkward, the blends of scales and major and minor, and me relieving tensions. Yet my own discordant flavors rife in their imperfections. Tip my sails towards rocky shores, robbed of oars and stranded on the islands of self-repression. A sallow forgotten grain of sand resting in the puddles in the scale bucket. Pouring myself empty, I've let scales dip and rise as they please, never learning to play the scales as what they are, a game, a tool, a measurement of numbers whose values I bestow. So what's heavy is light now and no feathers can glide down. Balance tip the scales, harmony tips the scales, acceptance of the numbers as data, not self-worth. For with data comes clarity, and with clarity comes vision, not sight. The scales are movements, slave to their numbers, not mine. The scales express my dimensions, but never my confines. I held my sister's baby in my arms. 6 pounds of fluffy human, the most fragile mass that lit a spark. I remember holding Tori as a baby when I was just 7, never knowing I'd hold her son before I ever held my own. Now my steel hard resolve to end my bloodline is starting to fade, crumble into dust. Maybe I should bring a child into this world so my nephew can have a cousin. The name Quint doesn't have to end with a stoic hermit. The gap between me now and me ready to be a father is a galaxy away, yet space is misleading. What I perceived as distances of lifetimes are just light years. I just had the wrong mind in the right years. Right loves in the wrong times, too concerned with my hard times to see my procreation as a right. Before Sterling can have a cousin, I have to learn to love again, trust again. Let these walls I built up crumble to dust again, and find some kind of way to value a relationship over the flow of my pen. But I don't know if I can. Thank you.
Yeah! So now is the time that Chuck has been waiting for. Please welcome Robinson with the greeting card giveaway. If you're new to the greeting cards giveaway, Robinson writes his own innards to blank greeting cards, or he makes them blank. And if you like them, if you really like them, hold up your hand and he will give them to you so you can take his poems home with you. Robinson Bolkum.
Dad is the one who selected my middle name, and not surprisingly, it was his name. But it was Mom who came up with my unusual hyphenated first name. Nothing like. According to Madame Zelda, it is now an auspicious occasion for you to go back to being known as Amenhotep III. Evidently, folks have gotten over it. Though a human may or may not be theistic, based upon this wagering of most of Earth's life, the deity is clearly anthropistic. And that's actually a word I found out. Spell check. I've just found it out by spell check, not tagging it. Anthropistic.
Raise your hand for the card so that way you can take the word.
All right, give her the answer.
See, now you have physical proof from research.
Excellent.
Finally, a word that has pistic. Driving at a speed way over the limit is a perilously foolish reversal of gambling. A person might imagine one is winning for a while and then hit the negative jackpot. Endeavors can appear too colossal or eternal until one arrives at motivational arithmetic. The increments are finite in their number and extent.
I like that one.
Give that to Duane. When we learn to see the essence of ourselves in other people, and that of other people in ourselves, the world can take on an insufferable blandness, an unvarying gelatinous repose.
I like that.
I knew that one should have had a home, so I'm glad.
Yeah.
A couple more. I got you a beautiful present for your birthday. But on my way home, I was hit by a truck. I was killed, but it was only a dream. I'll bet you wish that it wasn't, you jerk.
What, no takers for that one? You had the most laughs.
It's an unusual birthday card.
I think Kelly needs it. Okay, I'll take it.
Give it to Kelly. Last one. Hi there. I'm an angel or something. I can do miracles, but you are not a miracle, are you?
Oh my I don't need it if someone else wanted it.
Nobody?
Jude wants it.
I want it so bad.
Give it up for Robinett.
There's a greeting card for the last.
At some point in the future, Robinson said that he will gather all of the greeting card giveaways into a book so you can have every one of them. But he may be writing these for another 10 years before that happens. So, if you hear something you like, grab it as soon as you hear it. Now, we're going to have a little music from David Johnson, who's promised a brand new song. Yeah. And then, our feature performer, Tom Prince.
New shit. Okay, this one's called Carrier Pigeon. I had to find out from Instagram that my Aunt Evelyn died. My cousin didn't call me. My mom didn't call me. It would have been less impersonal to skywrite it. Or maybe send a carrier pigeon. They said we knew you were out at that rock and roll show. We didn't want to spoil your night, so we thought we would let it go till you got home. But it's too late for that now. I found out anyhow. I wish it was from your mouth.